I don't remember.
I didn't pay too much attention, but he only gave him half anyway.
Yeah, and he says I can only pay half, which is terrible.
Yeah, this is all scab labor now.
I'm so glad that Rocky beat you in Rocky 2. You deserve it, buddy.
The guilds will rise again.
Yes. So then he goes to get this thing, and we get this awesome scene. Okay, I don't know about you, and I don't know what you think, but when we got the first trailer and Werner Herzog's voice was narrating the trailer, that's the character who's paying him the bounty, I flipped because I love Werner Herzog's voice. Like, he's a film director, right? Werner Herzog is a really amazing film director. And he acts and he narrates and he does voice work and stuff like this. And so to see him in this was like a complete joy because I love his voice. Love it. Like you couldn't possibly believe.
I don't think we have the same affection for it, but I did like the scene a lot.
Yes. Now, there's something interesting that was pointed out to me by friend of the show and friend of the network, John Mills. Now, John Mills is a big Star Wars fan, and he's got a great podcast. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Aggressive Negotiations, and it's over on the Nerd Party Network. And it's actually a Parsec Award winning podcast, so it's really good. Check it out. We were messaging back and forth, and the guy that came in is actually wearing a badge from Kamino. Now, Kamino is the planet in Episode 2 where they're cloning the stormtroopers, right?
Stormtroopers, yeah.
And so Werner Herzog's character's like, it's okay if you kill this guy, we'll pay you less. And the other guy's like, what are you talking about? So why does this guy from Kamino want, who we find out at the very end of the episode, is what I'm calling Baby Yoda, right?
Right.
So,
although, I just want to say, because I have a few people I know are going to listen to this episode, I'm going to point out to you, like I pointed out to them on Facebook, I understand where you're all calling it Baby Yoda, but this is clearly not Yoda.
Now, hold your horses for half a second.
Okay?
Hold your horses for half a second. I understand that it's not Baby Yoda, it's just maybe one of his race and whatnot. What if it is? And what if it's a clone?
Well, that's different. That could be clone Yoda. It's definitely not Baby Yoda.
Yes, so it's not legitimate Baby Yoda. But
right,
what
because I'm having this debate, and you pointed out that this is 5 years after Jedi, right?
Yep.
And the baby's 50 years old.
Yep.
Which would mean it was born and or cloned 10 years before Phantom.
Yep.
So the timeline does not make sense for it to be Yoda's Yoda. You know, even if it was Yoda reincarnated, that doesn't make sense because Yoda's not dead yet.
Yes.
So,
now,
but clone, I didn't even think of that. I like that idea.
Yeah. So, in Attack of the Clones, we find out that this one Jedi Master, I wish I could remember his name. I'm bad with the name. Right, General Jedi Master, whatever. Like, I know that thin alien kept saying it. He had been running this, like these stormtroopers had been built for 10 years at least, right? Which is the time of the Phantom Menace.
Correct.
Right, which is when this would have started. So yeah, it's playing fast and loose and whatnot. That he's about 50 years old. You know, Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones is 10 years. There's some time in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith that we don't. I don't know how much it is off the top of my head. And then I
don't either.
It's 19 years until A New Hope.
Well, I know.
Right,
yeah,
so
okay.
that's 19 plus at least 10. Is 29 plus. Let's just add a couple years in between. This is 5 years after that, so I'm just trying to do this math in my head. So there's 34 years.
Well, we're 9 years after the Battle of Yavin. Yeah,
Yavin 4. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
is that what it is? It's 9 years.
It's 9 years after that battle.
Okay, so Luke is 19 in A New Hope, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so add 9 years to that is 28. Okay. 28 years. And then, I don't know, add a couple years in between episode 2 and 3. Right? So, I don't know, let's just add 5 years for just the sake of the argument is 39. And add 10 years to the Phantom Menace is 49, right? So so Baby Yoda would have cloned right before or right around the time of Phantom Menace.
Yeah, well, that's what the article I read had said. It was 10 years. He would have been clone. Well, he was born. They weren't talking about clones, but 10 years prior to the Phantom Menace. Now, I didn't check the math. You know,
Yeah.
like I didn't do the math out. But that's what they were saying. But even if that's true, right? Even if it is 10 years, that would be within the time frame that makes sense.
But the other thing is, and I don't know if this is possible, but all of the clones of Jango Fett, their birth was accelerated.
But that could still be true of
Baby
Clone
Yoda.
Yoda because Yoda was 900. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So he could be accelerated and still be a baby.
That's right. Yes.
You know.
Right. So like Jango Fett's payment was X dollars plus one unaltered clone.
Right.
Right, and that's who Boba Fett was. So
Right, and then
this is interesting.
they could have also just not accelerated Clone Yoda.
They could have not. Yes, so it could have not. They could have accelerated him a bit, or they could have not. We don't know. So, but it might not even be a clone of Yoda. We don't know.
It might not, but that's such a great theory that I'm going with it for now. In my head. See, I saw it as this because we've only seen 3 of them now.
Yeah. So like, how many? You say 3 because I remember that we saw like a pink-skinned one. I think it was in Phantom Menace right at the end.
Yeah, and that's Yadlin. Yaddle, I believe is the name. And it was a female. Then there's Yoda. And now there's the cutest Yoda doll ever. I mean...
Oh, so this is the third one.
This is the third
yeah,
one.
okay,
Yeah,
so this is the third one.
This is the third one I can remember. Now, I may be wrong. I'm not the most versed in Star Wars. I've watched all of it, but I believe this is only the third. And every other time we've ever seen... because people, like, if you think back, like, all right, he was in some of the cartoons and it was in a couple movies, but that was always Yoda.
Right.
Other than Yaddle. I don't know.
Interesting.
But that was Phantom Menace. So
Yeah.
you had Phantom Menace, then you had Empire Strikes Back, and then you had now.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to this first episode, though, like moving on from the cloned Yoda or whatever Baby Yoda ends up being, because that's at the end of the episode. Nick Nolte is like beyond amazing in this as this Ugnaught, right? So the little short piggish like alien that the Mandalorian comes across and helps him fight those weird.
Yeah, the one he just wants the others out of his neighborhood because
That's
he wants
Nick
peace.
Nolte.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I know. Totally right. Like, so I don't know. He's stellar. I have spoken. What a really interesting character that all he wants is peace in his area.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Just get them out of here because then peace will be restored. And he wants half. That was such a great scene. I want half. You want half just to guide me? Mm-hmm. Half of a bounty? No, I want half of the Borg. Borg?
Mm-hmm. Borg.
Whatever. Borg that you helped catch. Which is an ironic way to say it because he didn't do anything to help. But
Right.
So, what did you think of these little... My son calls them fish dinosaurs.
That's an apt description. It's a perfectly legitimate George Lucas universe creature. Yes.
Okay, so can I mean, I know this isn't directly tied to this episode, but do you know one of the things I love about Disney taking over Star Wars is that we're back to filming Star Wars like Star Wars? Mm-hmm. The first 3 episodes 1 through 3, not the first, chronologically the first 3, were filmed to modern day. We're back to like screen wipes and the old style fade outs, and I like that so much better. Mm-hmm. And we're back to that. We're back to stupid fish dinosaurs and whatnot.
You don't like that?
No, I love it. I love the fact that these look like they belong with the original 3 movies.
Okay, yeah.
Not episodes 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I like these creatures. I think they're totally Star Wars.
Right, and I think that I felt that episodes 1, 2, 3 veered too far away from that.
Yeah,
they tried to be too pretty.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't hate the prequel trilogy. Like I really don't like the Phantom Menace because to me it's so irrelevant to the rest of the series. I like a lot that's in Attack of the Clones. I think that the love story is atrocious. And George Lucas cannot write love stories whatsoever. And I truly love Revenge of the Sith. Like one of my some of my favorite things in Star Wars are in Revenge of the Sith, right? Like one of my favorite music cues is the opening battle sequence when right after the credit crawl. Like, that music is stunning in Revenge of the Sith. The music when he's sitting with Palpatine in that water ballet thing is stunning. The music when Padme is like sad and like looking out her thing, like the music is stunning there. Palpatine versus Yoda is my favorite lightsaber battle in the entire series.
That was very good. Like, I'm just not a big fan of the first 3 episodes. And part of it is that the cinematography of it was just too 2000 for me, for Star Wars.
Yeah, but Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie. Like, I truly love it.
And I just recently saw that.
Yeah, and I listened to your guys' podcast on it.
Yeah, it was good.
But this felt like Rogue One to me. And so that's part of the reason why I really love this Mandalorian series, is it really feels like it's in that universe. It looks really good.
Right, well, and that's what I mean. Like, yes, it looks good, but it has that kind of, it has that feel, that Star Wars feel that I didn't get from especially Phantom Menace. It just was way too bright and shiny and whatever, which I guess was part of the point. But, but I love that, like, you're watching and then all of a sudden you just see the screen, like, you know, disappear from the center out. You know what I mean? Like, those are old editing techniques that aren't used too commonly today, and we're seeing them in Mandalorian.
I'm sure that stuff's in the prequel trilogy too. I'm sure
it might be.
Is. Yeah,
it might be, but
I don't
notice it more now.
Yeah, I know that it's a lot in the original Star Wars, and but I'm certain it's in the prequel trilogy as well, man.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yes,
one day.
you do.
I watched every one of them the moment they released in New York, but
have you not seen them since?
Probably once or twice.
Shame on you.
No, because I watched. No, just no. Spoiler alert: he becomes Darth Vader.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Anyways, okay. So
did you go watch the Titanic too? You want me to tell you how that ends?
Titanic's a great movie.
You want me to tell you how it ends?
I know how it ends, but I mean, the spoiler, when people say don't spoil Titanic for me, it's don't spoil the love story. Yes, we know that the Titanic sinks, and everybody does know that, right? But there's other plot elements that can be spoiled, right? I'm sitting here tweeting out the other day, and I'm talking with Matt Rushing, and I mentioned something from episode 2 of The Mandalorian, and he's like, I actually haven't watched it yet. And I'm like, oh, because I just assumed he watched it right away because of how into Star Wars he is. So it wasn't a major spoiler, but I was just talking about it.
Okay, so what was the spoiler you gave?
I just said I love the music when he's battling that rhinoceros thing in episode 2. It's really...
That's not really that big a deal.
No, it's not. But battling a rhinoceros thing gives away a plot element, right? So.
It does, but you didn't give away the big part of that scene. So.
Yes. Yeah, when the minions were eating the egg.
Yeah, that's the one.
I love the Jawas. My favorite Jawas are Kevin and Dave.
They're your favorite?
Yeah, Kevin and Dave.
Not John and Joe.
No, well, Kevin and Dave. Like they work so closely with Gru.
Okay.
Have you not seen Minions or like Despicable Me?
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the voice of these Jawas is clearly the same person that does the voice for the Minions.
My kid loves those movies, but I have not watched them.
There's like 3 people laugh at my joke.
There probably is, but there's only like 7 people who listen to this, so they might not have listened.
Yes. Anyways, okay, so let's get back to the robot, the bounty robot.
We didn't even get to that yet.
I know.
For the first episode. We didn't even get to it. So
we saw one of these in Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
That's what I love about it. Like, I love it. So there's more than one of these. I'm like, is that the guy? I don't remember the numbers, right? But I'm like, is that the guy from Empire? And then he kills him. So no, it's not.
No, right? Well, it could have been. Empire Strikes Back happened before this.
You're right.
So it definitely could have been.
Yes, that could be him. Oh, man. Yes, thank you. So, yeah, in my headcanon, that's the same guy. Then.
Okay, so we can live that way, but the way he talks about it, it's like,
droids.
A bounty droid. Like, so clearly there's a couple of them. Like, he's run across these things before. It's not one of them running around all of the universe. It may be the same one this time, but...
Well, he just doesn't like droids in general, because, I mean, like, that first car that came by that was all fancy when he was pulling away that blue fish guy.
So he may be Union, but he's a robot racist.
Yes, robot racist, yes. Which is kind of common in the Star Wars universe, right? Like, when you go to Mos Eisley in Star Wars, they're like, no, droids, get your droids out of here.
Yeah, no, it's very common because they started the war that we saw in the prequel movies.
I don't think that's the reason. It
They
could
were
be.
they were used in those. That's why they're hated later on.
But those weren't the same droids.